Hello, friends. This is the first class on the Economic Business and Commercial Law, which deals on the Specific Relief Act, Lesson 21. Here, this more has connection with the Contract Act, Civil Procedure Code, and other legislations. It was recently amended in 2018. First, this law was enacted in the year 1963, 13/12/1963. The Act 47 of 1963. This Act was passed by the Parliament, and this Act was made effective within a month, that is January 1964. Earlier, it was not applicable for Jammu and Kashmir as for other legislations. However, after the 2019 amendment, where the reorganization of Jammu and Kashmir was passed by the Parliament by the present central government, it has been made effective by the J&K Reorganization Act 2019. So, Specific Relief Act is applicable all over India. What is meant by specific relief? The expression specific relief means a relief in specie, and it is an equitable relief given by the court in case of breach of contract. Sorry. And it aims at the exact fulfillment of an obligation instead of any monetary compensation. Specific relief is otherwise known as the specific performance. What is meant by specific performance? As per the Black's Law Dictionary, specific performance is a remedy ordered by the court that requires precise fulfillment of the contractual or legal obligations as per the contract. Specific performance, here it's an equitable relief granted by the court in form of a judgment. As per the dictionary, it is a precise fulfillment of the contractual or legal obligation. So, in the form of judgment, the defendant performs the contract according to its terms and stipulations. The law relating to specific relief in India is provided in the Specific Relief Act of 1963, which is Act 47 of 1963. The preamble of the Act states that the Specific Relief Act 1963 was enacted to define and amend the law relating to certain kinds of specific relief. The expression certain kinds of specific relief is important because the act is not exhaustive coverage. There are certain exclusions, there are certain inclusions in this law. It does not purport to lay down the law relating specific relief in all its ramifications. What are the remedies available under the Specific Relief Act 1963? Under the Specific Relief Act 1963, it is divided into specific relief, preventive relief. Preventive relief means injunction to prevent any wrongdoing or default of any contract prior to which the court orders stay. It orders the defendant to abide by the contract or as per the order. Specific relief is again divided into recovering possession of property, specific performance of contracts, rectification of instruments, rescission of contracts, cancellation of instruments, and declaratory decrees. So these are divided into further subparts. In 2018, there was an amendment. The 2018 amendment is based on the recommendations contained in the expert committee constituted by the central government, and the expert committee gave a report in 2016 which giving primacy to the specific relief, which gives primacy to the specific relief and is based on the intent to ensure the enforcement of moral obligation. It's a enforcement of moral obligation to honor one's promises. Once the plaintiff and defendant promises, they have to abide by it, they have to satisfy the conditions, they have to honor the promise and deter the promisor from committing a breach, thus affecting the contractual behavior. They should not commit any breach which affects the contractual behavior and enable a promisee to choose a remedy of his choice. It is recognized that a decree for compensation does not compensate fully, as proving losses with certainty is difficult. So where compensation is not possible or is not adequate and specific performance is needed, considering the facts and cases earlier prior to the amendment, the provisions were like the court may, in the discretion of the court. So these were the words used in the provisions. The court may consider and it may pass an order as requested by the plaintiff. However, from the amendment made effective in 2018, it has been made mandatory. It has been made mandatory. Again, there are few articles which states that the Specific Relief Act codifies the law into grant of relief of specific performance, including injunctions, as we discussed here. Under the Act, the remedy of specific performance was not available to a party as a matter of right because it was at the discretion of the court, but its grant was based on the discretion of the court. However, from the date of Amendment Act made effective, which is the Act was passed in August 2018 and made effective October 2018, the substantive change in the substratum and ethos of the act being there. As per the Amendment Act, the courts are bound to enforce the specific relief, specific performance of the contract as a rule, subject to limited exceptions as provided in the law. Who may obtain a specific performance? So there are various categories. Parties to the contract. Parties to the contract are always entitled for the specific performance. Representative, where the parties are not directly competing or claiming the court. The representative in interest or principal of any party thereto, they can claim for specific performance of the contract. However, where the learning, skill, solvency or any personal quality of such party is a material ingredient in the contract, or where the contract provides that his interest shall not be assigned, his representative in interest or his principal shall not be entitled for specific performance of the contract. The assignment of interest should be present in the contract terms as originally entered by the parties. If it is not there, then the representative in interest or its principal, they are not entitled for specific performance of the contract unless such party has already performed his part, because it involves learning, skill, solvency, personal quality. So they have already performed their part, or the performance thereof by is has been accepted, that is which has been performed by the representative in interest or his principal has been accepted by the other party, then the representative can claim for specific performance of the contract. Beneficiary, where the contract is a settlement on marriage or a compromise of doubtful rights between the members of the same family. Any person beneficially entitled thereunder can claim for specific performance. Remainder man, where the contract has been entered into by a tenant for life in due exercise of power, the remainder man. There might be contract where the tenant will wish to hold the property until the end of his life or the life of the lessor. The remainder man is a property law term that refers to the person who inherits or entitled to inherit property upon the termination of the life estate of the former owner. Remainder man is a property law term that refers to a person who inherits. I am inheriting or I am entitled to inherit the property upon the termination of life estate of the former owner, of my father or mother who owns the property. After their life estate is terminated, I am entitled to claim the property. I am entitled to inherit the property. A life estate refers to an arrangement in which a person's ownership of the property lasts. It is there until the duration of their life, and then it is transferred back to the original person to whom the back to the owner or a third party. That person to whom the ownership of the property is transferred is known as the remainder man. I'll read it once again. A life estate refers to an arrangement in which a person's ownership of a property lasts for the duration of their life and then is transferred back to their original owner or a third party. That person to whom the ownership of the property is transferred is called the remainder man. Reversioner in possession, reversioner in remainder. A reversioner in possession where the agreement agrees or states covenant entered into with his predecessor in title, and reversioner is entitled to the benefit of such covenant. In remainder means where the agreement is such covenant and the reversioner is entitled to benefit thereof will sustain material injury by reason of its breach. In case of any violation of the terms, breach of terms, they will sustain material injury. They can claim for specific performance of the contract. Amalgamated LLP, amalgamated company, they are more or less same. That is, the wordings plays the same. When a LLP or a company has entered into a contract and subsequently becomes amalgamated with another LLP or company respectively, the new LLP or the company which arises out of the amalgamation, it can claim for specific performance of the contract with the other party with whom the originally amalgamated company has entered into a contract. Incorporated company, when the promoters of a company have before its incorporation entered into a contract for the purposes of the company and such contract is warranted by the terms of incorporation, the company has accepted the contract and has communicated such acceptance to the other party to the contract, that is post the incorporation. You can have a word with your law faculty about, because she will be teaching you about the pre-incorporation contracts. What is the effect on the promoters and the company? In point number 2, the representative in principle or his interest shall not be entitled to specific performance of the contract where the learning, skill, solvency or any personal quality of such party is a material ingredient in the contract, or where the contract provides that his interest shall not be assigned. For this point we were discussing is actually repeated as note, nothing to worry, because I have given it here in italics again as a note. Cases in which specific performance of contract cannot be in which contract can be enforceable. The specific performance of any contract shall be enforced by the court in the following cases. No standard for ascertaining the damage. When there exists no standard for ascertaining the actual damage caused by the non-performance of the act agreed to be done. For example, when there is a damage to the vehicle and you are claiming the insurance, at that time there will be done some actuarial valuation based on the assessed value and that is original insured assessed value as well as the damage value. There will be certain formulas and principles which will be followed, so based on which the compensation is given. However, where there is no standard for ascertaining the actual damage caused due to the breach of contract or the non-performance of the act as per the contract, then the court shall order for the specific performance of the contract. In here only, earlier the words were, earlier it used to read as the specific performance of any contract may in the discretion of the court be enforced. However, now this has changed, it shall be enforced by the court. monetary relief is not an adequate relief. When the act agreed to be done is such that the compensation in money for its non-performance would not afford adequate relief. See, I have done some violation, there is some breach. I'll pay you money, please leave me. I am not interested in performing the contract. However, the court, if the plaintiff applies that monetary relief is not a compensation for the non performance, in the following cases the court shall presume monetary relief is not an adequate relief where immovable property is agreed to transfer, or in case of movable property in exceptional cases where the property is not an ordinary article of commerce or is of a special value or interest to the plaintiff, or consist of the goods which are not easily obtainable in the market, not an ordinary article in commerce, or has a special value of interest to the plaintiff, or consist of goods which are not easily obtainable in the market, and where the property is held by the defendant as an agent or trust of the plaintiff. Trust or an agent is always required to return back to the owner. It is kept in trust, not for the ownership. So it should be transferred to the owner whenever he asks for the same. Here I can give the example of antique pieces or those antique items available in museum, or we can even say how the idols are being taken, that is identified, traced and collected from outside India, which have been stolen from India temples, as well as we used to say about the UK, which who were the ruling prior to our independence. So they had taken away few wealth, important items or having special value. So in that case the court is entitled to, the court shall presume monetary relief is not an adequate relief. Plaintiff has done substantial acts. The court may properly exercise a discretion to order to decree specific performance in any case where the plaintiff has done substantial acts or suffered losses in consequence of a contract capable of specific performance. Again, here there is an author's note. To succeed in a suit for specific performance, the plaintiff has to prove that a valid agreement of sale was entered into by the defendant in his favor and terms thereof, that the defendant committed breach of contract, and that he was always ready and willing to perform his part of the obligation in terms of the contract. To succeed the specific performance where the plaintiff has done substantial acts means there should be a valid agreement in place by the defendant in plaintiff's favor. Defendant has committed breach of contract, and plaintiff has always been ready and willing to perform his part of the obligation as per the contract terms. Construction, contract for construction of the building as per section 14 subsection 3. Mortgage or debentures, contract to execute a mortgage or take up debentures as per section 14.3. Deed of partnership, suit for execution of a formal deed of partnership. So these are the cases where the court can order for specific performance by the parties. Cases in which specific performance of contracts is connected with trust enforceable. Specific performance of a contract shall be enforced when the act agreed to be done is in the performance wholly or partly of a trust, and the contract made by the trustee in excess of his powers or breach of trust cannot be specifically enforced. This provision is subject to contract to the contrary. Earlier, again, this was subject to the discretion of the court, but now it has been made mandatory by the use of the word shall. Specific performance of part of contract. According to section 12 of the act, the specific performance of part of the contract may be enforced in the following cases. Section 12, 2, 3 and 4 of the act provide exceptions to the general rule of specific performance of the contract. In what are the cases? General rule in regard to the enforcement of the contract. A contract is intended to be dealt as a whole but not in piecemeal, in parts. However, section 12 subsection 1 is an exception to the general rule. Lord Rumilly opined that the court cannot specifically perform the contract piecemeal, but it must be performed in its entirety if performed at all. Part left unperformed contract is proportionately small. In that case, the court may direct the specific performance of so much of the contract that can be performed and award compensation for deficiency. Majority of the contract has been performed. However, there is a proportionately smaller amount which has been kept unperformed. In that case, the court may order for the specific performance of so much contract that can be performed by the defendant and the plaintiff and award compensation for the deficiency. Where part left unperformed considerably large and the plaintiff relinquishes all claim to further performance and all right to compensate either for the performance or the loss damaged by him, he can sue the court and the court can grant specific performance. If it is small, the court may direct to complete the specific performance of the contract up to which it is possible, up to which it can be performed and award compensation for the deficiency. However, if it is considerably large and the plaintiff relinquishes the claim to further performance and all right to compensate, he can sue the court and the court can grant specific performance. Sue in the court for specific performance. Separate and independent part, where in a contract itself, when it is divisible into two or more parts, then their part of the contract can be order for specific performance in which no dependent on the other part of contract which cannot be performed. Mr. A contracts to sell B a piece of land consisting of 100 acres for a lakh. It turns out that only 50 acres belong to the A and 50 acres is a substantial part of the contract, being 50%. A cannot demand specific performance of the contract, but B can demand specific performance of the contract to get 50 acres of land by paying the full consideration to 1 lakh apart from any compensation. Contracts not specifically enforceable. Earlier 14, 17, 20 was there. 20 have little bit amended because there is an amendment in 2018 amendment law. The following contracts cannot be specifically performed. Substituted performance, where a party to the contract has obtained substituted performance as per in accordance with the provisions of section 20. We will see what is section 20 also. Continuous supervision of the court, where the performance of the contract involves the continuous duty of the court to supervise, then it cannot be enforceable. Contracts involving personal qualification, earlier Olition was also there. A contract which is so dependent on the personal qualification of the parties that the court cannot enforce specific performance of its material terms, or nature is determinable, in which it is determinable, in that case it cannot order specific performance of the contract. Contract to sell or let property by one who has no title not specifically enforceable. A contract to sell or let any movable property cannot be specifically enforced in favor of a vendor or lessor when such vendor or lessor does not have any title to the property or has contracted to sell or let the property, and they cannot give the purchaser or lessee a free title within the time fixed by the court. Recovery of possession of movable immovable property. Section 5 to 8 deal with the recovery of possession of the property. Property may be either movable or immovable. 5 and 6 deals with immovable property, 7 and 8 with movable property. Section 5 of the Specific Relief Act, a person is entitled to possession of specific immovable property may recover the same as per the manner provided in the CPC, Code of Civil Procedure 1908. The word person here includes company, association or body of individuals, whether incorporated or not. This is as per General Clauses Act 1897, Section 3, Clause 42. Definitions. Person includes any company or association or body of individuals, whether incorporated or not. They can claim the possession of specific immovable property as per the procedure laid down under the provisions of CPC. The action under section 5 arises when claim is made based on the title. I am the owner, I am claiming that. In that case, the person can claim under the in the court under the law of Specific Relief Act, contract law, TOPA, CPC and other applicable laws. Power of court to engage experts. Usually 6 should have come. I'll come back to this section. Suit by persons dispossessed of immovable property. If any person is dispossessed without his consent, I am taken away the possession of my property without my consent, immovable property of the immovable property, otherwise than in due course of law. In case there is any legal order by the court or the banking as per the agreement entered with the bank for any loans, in case of violation, they will take possession of the property without my consent as per the due procedure of law. So, if any person is dispossessed without his consent of immovable property, otherwise in due course of law, he or any person through whom he has been in possession or any person claiming through him, 3 persons, he or any person claiming through whom he has been in possession or any person claiming through him may recover possession by filing a suit within 6 months from the date of dispossession. Dispossession within 6 months from that date he should file a suit with the court. This section is not available against the government. The object of this section is to discourage forcible dispossession and to enable the person dispossessed to recover the possession by merely providing previous possession and wrongful disposition without proving title. Section 6 gives a remedy without establishing the title, provided the suit is brought within 6 months from the date of dispossession. 5 is title of immovable property is claimed. 6 is possession of immovable property is claimed. Requisites for this section: the plaintiff is in actual and legal possession of the property. It can be even due to lease or any contract entered with the government. Dispossessed without his consent and otherwise than in law, suit should be filed within 6 months from the date of disposition for recovery of the property. There are certain insertions, so there will be some changes. Recovery of specific movable property. A person is entitled to recover the possession of specific movable property. 7 and 8 is movable property in the manner provided in CPC. A trustee may sue for the possession of movable property of which he is a trustee. The term trustee includes every person holding property in trust. Explanation 2. A special or temporary right to the present possession of the movable property is sufficient to support a suit under this section. We'll move to section 8, come back to 14A and then 16, 20 and all, friends. Liability of a person in possession not as owner to deliver to persons entitled to immediate possession. Here, the liability of person in possession who is not a owner to deliver to the person entitled to immediate possession. A person having possession or control holding of the property of a particular article of a movable property of which he is not a owner may be compelled specifically to deliver it to the person entitled to its immediate possession in the following four cases. 1. Claim from agent or trustee. When the thing claimed is held by the defendant as the agent or trustee of the plaintiff. In that case, the agent or trustee has to return. Money is not adequate relief. When the compensation in money would not afford the plaintiff adequate relief for the loss of the thing claimed, where it is difficult to ascertain the actual damage caused by its loss, or in fourth case, where it has been wrongly transferred, when the possession of the thing claimed has been wrongly transferred from the plaintiff. So in these four cases, the person who is not a owner, who is having possession of the property, then they have to deliver to those entitled to those persons who are entitled to the immediate possession. Moving back to the section 14a, then we will come to 16, 20, 21 and all. Powers of court to engage experts. This has been included by way of amendment. Subject to CPC, that is Civil Procedure Code 1908, for any suit under this act, the court may engage and obtain expert opinion, engage an expert and obtain the opinion to assist in specific issue involved in the suit and direct the expert to report to it on such issue and may secure attendance of the expert for providing evidence, documents, produce the documents, etc. So in case of any specific issue involved in the suit requires, the court may engage an expert and ask him to assist the court and directly report to the court. They can even order the attendance of the expert for providing evidence, furnishing documents in support of his opinion. The court may require or direct any person to give relevant information to the expert or to produce or to provide access to relevant information property for its inspection to form the opinion sought by the court. The opinion or report given by the expert, it shall form part of the record of the suit, and the court, or with the permission of the court, the parties to the suit, that is the defendant, plaintiff and the defendant, may examine the expert personally in open court before the judge on any matters referred to him or mentioned in his opinion or report, or as the manner in which he made the inspection. The expert here is entitled to fee, cost, reimbursements as the court may fix, which shall be payable by the parties in such proportion the court may direct. So this has been included in 14a. Now moving to section 16. Personal bars to relief. Specific performance of the court cannot be enforced in favor of a person who has obtained a substituted performance of a contract under section 20, who has become incapable of performing or violates any essential term of contract that on his part remains to be performed. When the plaintiff has violated any essential term or incapable of performing or acts in fraud of the contract or willfully acts in variation or subversion of the relation intended to be established by the contract, who fails to prove that he has performed or has always been ready and willing to perform the essential terms of a contract which are to be performed by him, other than those performance which has been waived by the defendant. Over where a contract involves payment of money, it is not essential for the plaintiff to actually tender to the defendant or to deposit in the court any money except if directed by the court. The plaintiff must prove performance of or readiness, willingness to perform his part of the contract to its true construction of the contract. So these are given in section 16. No substituted performance as referred in section 14 and 16, subject to Indian Contract Act 1872, which is also there in part of his syllabus. Subject to Indian Contract Act 1872 and except as otherwise agreed upon by the parties, where the contract is broken due to non-performance of the promise by any party, the party who suffers by such breach shall have the option for substituted performance. option of substituted performance through a third party or his own agency and recover such expenses or costs actually incurred by him from the party who has committed the breach. Where the contract is broken due to non performance of promise by any party, the party who suffers by such breach shall have the option of substituted performance through a third party or by his agency and recover the cost and expenses actually incurred by him. No substituted performance of contract shall be undertaken unless the party who suffers such breach has given a notice in writing at least 30 days within not less than 30 days to the party in breach, calling upon him to perform the contract within such time as specified in the notice. And on his refusal or failure to do so, the party who has been affected, he may get the same performed by the third party or his own agency. Party who suffers such breach shall not be entitled to recover expenses or cost where he has got performed through a third party or his own agency. Where the party suffering breach has got the performed contract performed through the third party or agency after giving notice shall be entitled to claim a relief for specific performance against the party in breach because already it has been satisfied by a third party or his own agency. Who has suffered breach is entitled to claim compensation from the party in breach. Special provisions for contract relating to infrastructure projects. No injunction shall be granted by a court in a suit under this Act, Specific Performance Act, Specific Relief Act, involving a contract relating to an infrastructure project specified in schedule. This section has again been inserted by the law, by the Parliament, with schedules also added, where the central government is empowered to make changes. Where granting injunction would cause impediment or delay in progress or completion of such infrastructure projects. Notwithstanding anything contained in CPC, a suit filed under this Act shall be disposed of by the court within a period of 12 months. Now, timeline have been fixed in various legislations. Within 12 months from the date of service of summons to the defendant, further the said period may be extended by not exceeding 6 months in aggregate after recording the reasons and writing for such extension. In a suit for specific performance, the plaintiff may also claim compensation for its breach in addition to such performance. If in any such suits the court decides that specific performance ought not to be granted, but that there is a contract between the parties which has been broken by the defendant and the plaintiff is entitled to compensation, or where it is not sufficient to satisfy justice of the case and some compensation of breach should also be made to the plaintiff. In these two cases, the court shall award him such compensation as guided by the principle specified in section 73 of Indian Contract Act. I believe you would have read the same in the C sheet portion also. That is Indian Contract Act I am saying. No compensation shall be awarded under section 21 unless the plaintiff has claimed such compensation in his plaint. However, the court may allow for any correction of the plaint for including the claim. Rectification of instruments.